Hey, everybody. Welcome to Don't Make Me Come Back There. We are a funny podcast about family. My name is Dustin Nickerson. I'm a stand-up comedian and the host.
Take your time, babe.
Of the aforementioned podcast, and we don't have a lot to talk about, so I'm just trying to fill the airwaves here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside me is my lovely wife and co-host, Melissa Nickerson.
Hey there.
Our lovely producer, Andy Lara.
Bum 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 bum.
Everyone's trying to pump me up because my self-esteem's pretty low right now. I got home 36 hours ago. Melissa has yelled at me roughly 11 times in that period. I'm not saying that I didn't deserve said yelling. I'm just stating the facts.
We yelled in front of the bunny.
And Andy told me to put on a different shirt because I looked like a fat tub of lard. Were his words, which seemed harsh for a man on payroll.
I thought sitting in chairs on camera is not for the faint of heart.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Or for the boob of man.
If we could just wear like a drape.
Yes.
It's just shoulders. It just drapes to our knees.
Ponchos.
Shared
Moving
snuggie.
forward. Yeah.
The shared snuggie.
I would like. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my hands have to be visible. This is a clean podcast, everybody. I don't want anybody making accusations. I think
snuggies.
Ponchos. I gotta have hand access.
Okay.
Snuggie is no less practical than you realize. I went through a Snuggie era.
We had a Snuggie party.
We had a Snuggie party. We had an era where we bought into it, and it's not that great, actually. A sweatshirt does the job just fine.
Turns out.
It's a sweatshirt.
It's a sweatshirt. So,
yeah. I like to wear your flannels.
My flannels.
Your flannels. That's... Yeah.
Smells like perspiration.
I just washed that.
No, I'm doing a bit.
Okay.
Melissa is not sharp.
No, I'm not.
I would
not.
Bitter. Mel was gone for 7 days. I was gone for 10.
I feel like you were gone like 11.
Are you ready?
It was like a week and a half.
This is a classic.
2 weekends.
Yes. I left on a Thursday. I got home the following Sunday. So what's that, 11?
Like at midnight?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to get technical on me.
I don't know how many days it was. No matter what number, if I'd have said 15, you'd have said 17.
But listen, you were feeling it like I've been out too long.
Oh, yeah.
You were feeling that.
Yes.
So if you typically do 4 days.
Yes.
This was like
more than
2.5 times.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where
I have done a week plus 4, 5 times in a career.
Yeah.
I haven't done it a lot. I'm doing it again next month.
Yeah.
But you guys, money is helpful.
It is. And our kids keep breaking things. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We have.
They do that.
I don't know if.
No. don't even. Someone may have broken something in hopes of getting something.
Someone in our house
better.
may or may have wanted a new phone. And a weight may or may not have accidentally gotten dropped on said phone. But I don't want to make any accusations here because I want to believe this person, but...
The true,
But everyone in the family immediately was suspicious. You dropped a weight on it?
Well...
And it looks like there's several weight drop spots. Listen.
The point is, that person no longer has a device right now. So
and I think that was the lesson learned.
That's the lesson.
The lesson learned is when you don't pay for your phone, you just don't have a phone now. Like if your phone breaks, so I would be curious your guys' take on this. So I was reading a thing about I'm trying to even remember how it went, but I'll just tell the story. There was a big Reddit thread where someone was saying, "My child really wants an iPhone. What should I do?" And they said, "Well, you should take your child down to Verizon. You should have them pick out their phone, pick out their case, pick out their monthly plan, go through the whole thing, and then when the cashier says,
that'll be $1,500.
Yeah, go Okay. You wanted a phone? You can buy a phone and look at your child.
That's going to take 6 hours.
Yeah. That's an expensive lesson.
That's the same thing as like kids like, oh, I want to smoke. Okay. Let's go to the store, buy a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Head out to the porch. Let's smoke.
Yeah.
See how long this goes.
The idea of it, right, is...
It's kind of a call their bluff.
No, the idea of it is they see the weight of how much that phone costs. And well, if you wanted a phone, then buy the phone. Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to pay for therapy that's more expensive than that phone. That is mean. That's a mean thing to do. Also, you know who that sucks for? It's not that retailer's job to raise your children. This Verizon employee is making $18 an hour, and they're expected to teach your children lessons.
They're ready for the sale.
They thought they were getting commission. They were upselling on cases and otter boxes.
Transferring contacts.
And you're like, no, it's your job to teach my child the weight of economic burdens. That's one of those really, that's like an interesting, you know where that's effective is for your kid to read that story. And like think about it in that terms, but it's not like your kids don't understand that they have zero money.
It's tough. That's tough.
Trifecta of guilt.
I know. Yeah.
You're making so many people upset for your lesson.
You know what? You know what I would do if I was the Verizon employee?
Take a day off of work to do that.
Yeah. If I was the Verizon employee, I would give the kid the phone for free. He'd be like, "Now it's your problem." Now
that is so good.
Yeah.
Today the phone's free when you sign up for the contract.
Didn't go the way you planned, huh?
Yeah. Actually, you already committed to this on your plan, sir. This is on your plans for a while. I would somehow, because I would feel so bad for that kid in that moment. I don't know. Anyways, speaking of iPhones, guys, leave us reviews on our podcast if you haven't already before. This is a fun one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is from longtime listener, 5 stars. I've been listening to Dustin and Melissa tell jokes since we were both youth leaders together during those golden years that we old-timers refer to as the 2000s.
Yes.
Somehow we have stayed in touch after all these years. Even though my wife and I have moved 13 times and live in the Midwest now, we love being able to be connected to the Nickersons through this podcast. Any guess who that is?
No.
Mike Johnson. Ah! What I'm telling you is the 99% of our reviews and listeners are not our friends, but there's a couple of them in there. Mm-hmm. And if you are those couple of them in there, you should be leaving reviews too, like Mike. That's why I go and visit Mike when I'm in his area, and I don't go and visit you. But I visit Mike in Kansas City. We have barbecue together because he's a good friend, and good friends leave reviews on the podcast.
There you go.
Speaking of good friends, guys, we've got lots of tour dates coming up. Not a lot in the immediate. We got a couple next week, and I'm going to be at 45th Parallel Distillery in New Richmond, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Surprised by that date? Me too.
What's New Richmond by?
St. Paul, Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's outside that direction. You know, the Minnesota, the Wisconsin, they've got a real kinship to them. Great. They're very, very close. Mm-hmm. And then in October, I'm going to be at the Mountain in Vancouver, BC. Tickets are almost sold out to that. It's a teensy tiny little room, and we're doing 2 shows there. So go to get some tickets for that. And then we kick back up in December for I'm touring every week until March. Phoenix, Vegas, Cleveland, Cincy, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Indy, Indianapolis. New Year's Eve show just got added. Brooklyn, that's added. Philly, Kansas City, St. Louis, Portland, D.C., Grand Rapids, Spokane, and this is a new one on sale now, March 10th in Seattle, Washington.
Woo!
The Crocodile. I got promoted to upstairs, ladies and gentlemen. I got the downstairs hereafter. Mm-hmm. This is us walking upstairs. Yep. Actually, we're not going to walk upstairs this time because we won't.
Level.
We won't ever go downstairs now. We'll walk down the stairs from our hotel room. Ding, 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 ding. Take the turn. Ding, 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 ding. Someone's got to fill the air on this podcast.
You're walking with your knees. Ding, ding,
those
ding,
are
ding.
I'm wearing skis in this. I'm a short man in skis in this. Why don't you just keep fighting with me, huh? Everything I say is wrong. The last 36 hours. Sorry you had such a great time on your trip.
sorry, Andy. I'm sorry that you have to see this and that your bunny saw this.
Can I ask you a question that you might not want to answer, but I'll answer the same question if you want? In the last, since what's today? Today's Tuesday morning. Since we started communicating again yesterday morning, if you could take back one thing that you said to me, what would it be? If you could.
Okay, so I would probably take back this morning because that was fairly petty.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. I would like to add a little context, but
well, we have a sick kid
anyway,
and we've been we were on
Joel started puking at 8:30 last
Joel ran
night.
7 miles yesterday. Went and met all of us and Grandpa at Blanco. Great Mexican restaurant. We love Blanco.
It is a chain, but it is great.
Yeah, it's at Fashion Valley Mall. It's a chain in a mall. I'm not going to act like it's not anything that it isn't.
It's a vibe.
And then he went and pounded like a fish taco, a carne asada taco, a aqua fresca, a bunch of queso.
Yeah.
And he'd thrown up. I don't think he's even met our bunny yet, which we're going to talk about the bunny quite a bit more.
Yeah.
Promptly
Glory
puked.
came home from volleyball and she's like, it smells like Blanco. And I'm like, well, your brother your brother threw up.
Regurgitated Blanco.
Yeah. So then you're just kind of waiting, and I knew it, because you like help him clean up, and he threw up at midnight.
Yeah.
And now he's sleeping.
Yeah.
So then that's in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just.
I noticed you sneezed 3 times, and I did a bit about it. I was like, "Oh, are you okay? Are you all right you gotta stay healthy." I was like doing a bit. I was like, if you don't prioritize yourself, nobody will. And then you yelled at me.
Well, yeah. It's just.
Do I look to be in a gaming mood?
No, that's exactly it. It's been 2.5 days of rebuilding.
Yeah. But good moments in there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, I mean, I wouldn't take back a word. I meant everything I said. So, I mean, you may not want to hear it, but I don't regret saying it.
Okay. Good exercise.
No. Maybe it's when I told you, I'll talk to you when you stop spiraling. I think I told you were out of control once or twice in there.
Yeah. So the good news is I don't remember the details as much. It's more I just remember the
You blacked
feeling.
out? You just remember the feeling? That's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember both.
You got to forgive and forget, Dustin.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Just look at me. Clean slate.
No, I actually do think that part of the reason the fights don't last as long as they used to is we both do refrain from saying, like, throwing the knockout punch. Like, the low blow. Like, you're always like this, or, like...
That's young fighting.
That is young fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're, like, calm fighting.
Ultimatums.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this so many times, and I said it a bunch on this trip. My very favorite thing about you is that you are authentic and you're the real deal and there's no phoniness about you, and you are always like exactly how you feel. Oh, you have no problem living in the moment. But sometimes that moment is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so you will like, and I just, it's like, I kept saying you're dumping on me.
Well, and I did that on Sunday night when you were at the airport.
Right.
Because we had already decided that you were going to get rest Monday morning and I was going to go hike.
Right.
Solo. And so I dumped because I would have dumped on the hike. But since you weren't going on the hike, I dumped Sunday night so that I could sleep and go on the hike.
Yeah.
And then see you.
But then you redumped. You took
that was a different dump.
You took 2 dumps.
That was a new dump.
Hey, got to get it in when you can. As an adult, if you got to dump, you got to take a dump. You can't wait.
Especially when you're traveling.
Especially when you're traveling. Oh my gosh, were the traveling toots in full effect. Traveling toots might have been they were pre-Andy. They were BA on this B Andy.
I think it might have been. Oh, you're right.
It was BA, yeah. Traveling toots are just a phrase that we have for what it's like on the road and constantly being gassy all the time.
And you have a jingle.
It's not enough. It's not a. It's yeah. It's not anything.
You can experience that tomorrow.
It's really fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
When you go to Alabama.
I'm in and out of different time zones, eating food I don't normally eat. Getting up at hours I don't normally eat. I got the traveling toots. That's great. The lyrics change each time. I can never remember them. You know,
just a little.
Well, you're comedian improv.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Eating fish from a different coast. Did that have milk or did it not? I need to sleep, but I can't sleep. I got the traveling toots. You know, it's
that's great.
It's trademark and license. The traveling toots, and that is
that would be your first song on Spotify.
The traveling toots.
Yeah, we got to get that on a playlist.
Yeah, it's
it's special.
The traveling toots might be the new outro to this song. I don't know, but one of these days I'll put a pen to paper and it's.
Okay, you have like a little saliva right here.
Great. Let's fight about that.
Your performance was so good.
You're spiraling.
You're always so
spiraling. You're spiraling right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I want to talk about our trip to New York, and and I understand the indulging, but before that, I want to tell you another bad plane story.
Great.
So I edit videos a lot on planes. And perhaps that's like I'm asking for something there for someone to be like, I get that. But also like that's a great time to edit videos. Yes. And all my videos just happen to be of me. So I saw like I was like working on one, I was clipping it up and stuff and and from the special and
on your laptop.
Yeah, and it was me and there was one other guy and there's a middle seat. And I did have I had a chatty aisle guy or a window guy. Like we were in exit rows, not bragging. And like they asked like they got to do the verbal and they're like yes, and he goes always. And you're like, all right. This guy's got like a bit.
Okay.
Locked and loaded.
And they're like, sir, is that a yes or?
Yeah. She said yes or no, please. And I'm like working on it for like 10 minutes, headphones in, and he elbowed me and he's like, dude, is that you? And I was like, oh no. And I was like, yeah, no. But now it isn't obviously me because I'm I'm traveling. I'm usually hood up, no glasses, hat on. But I mean, there's context clues. He's like, dude, you're a stand-up comedian. That's incredible. And I'm like, I mean, I already think it's rude that he interrupted my clear workflow. And he was like, oh, man, I love that. And then he was like, what's your name? I was like, oh, no, here we go. And he's like, I was like, oh, Dustin Nickerson. And then he was like, oh, man, so, like, I got a friend that, like, runs a comedy show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, no, this is like going to do. He's like, it's at, like, a bar. It's for the veterans. I'm like, what? This is not, like, what?
So what are the odds that he found you on the plane?
So not only did he find me, he started watching my clips like right next to me. And like he would like laugh really loud at some and then others he would just like watch like 3 seconds of them and swipe up and then on to the next one. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so painful.
So you had to watch a stranger get introduced to your content.
Yeah.
Your content.
Market research.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah. And he was like, oh, that one about like having the two political parties, that's exactly what we like. That's so funny. That would be perfect. And I was like, I'm not looking for you to book me, man. I'm not. You're soliciting to me.
Write a comment.
Yeah.
Leave a review.
Yeah.
On the podcast.
Yeah. And then I looked closely and he didn't even follow me. He never hit follow. He just looked at it. He's like, yeah, man, like I'll reach out. And And then he didn't DM me either. And I'm like, this sucks. I'm watching someone get introduced to the fact that I'm a comedian and then not really care, but also do kind of the lip service.
Oof. That's tough.
Did I tell you about the Austin Uber driver that I had? Did I tell you that one? Did we do that on the pod where me and Steve Rogers are in the car and I don't want people to know that we're comedians.
Yes.
But then I waited too long. Like I told her too early that we weren't comics and I didn't realize there was so much drive left. And then we started talking about bits and I was like, oh no, this is on me. And I'm looking and she's like,
can't backpedal now.
No, and she's like a very nice, like older Christian woman. Like it's like she's listening to Jeremy Camp and like all the newsboys and like the Christian stations on. She's like, you guys are comedians? And she's like, oh, so that's amazing. You guys are comedians here in Austin. And she goes, so do you guys drive for Uber too? And I go, not anymore. Because no, I never did. I functionally did. I get it. Yeah. But if you're a comedian in Austin, I mean, that's pretty much a given that you.
Yeah.
That's all.
We actually at one point we were like, you can just like fly to your gig and do the gig and then drive for Uber.
Yes.
That was like a plan.
That was a plan, but then they won't let you do it. You can't drive out of state. You can't drive from
Uber. You also wouldn't have a vehicle, just like a...
Right. You'd have to rent. Well, at the time when you could kind of get away with renting them, that was a thing for a while. I don't know if it still is.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a plan at one point. We thought we've cracked the code. How to be a comic and an Uber driver.
Yeah, I know. You know, Phoenix has the highest rate that I've seen of like the driverless cars, and at once was like a nightmare to me, and it now is a fantasy.
I mean, were you in one?
No, but you see them all over.
Oh,
like you see them all over downtown Phoenix. The driverless cars. I don't know what brand they are, but like they're like lifts. They're like cabs. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they're just point A to point B. You hire. Yeah. It's
okay. So and it's like Lyft, but
no Lyft, driver. But there's no driver. So perfect Lyft.
Yeah. Subtract the driver.
Yeah. No, I think when they first introduced the idea of driverless cars, it was terrifying, and now it's like a grown up who hates talking to other strangers. It's a pure fantasy. I couldn't have written it better.
Yeah. No, I used to be an airplane talker.
Well, is that because we
like a college kid?
Well, in our younger Christian days, you had to convert your neighbor on a plane.
Prime real estate.
You got him for 5 hours.
Just white.
You got to you open up that Bible.
Hours.
I mean, this plane could go down.
It's a good time to reflect.
Yeah. I think more people used to be plane talkers because there used to be less entertainment on planes. You used to have one movie you were forced to watch.
And you were waiting for it to turn on after they did the safety briefing.
What's it going to be? What's it going to be? What's it going to be?
Because when I was like 18.
Free Willy. Dang it. I've already seen it.
19, like flying from Seattle to California for college. I would talk a lot on the plane. But I think because of you and like how all your stories, and I've just been like, my new stance is like maybe do a half smile and like give them their space.
Right.
Like I have adapted.
To me, it depends on the airlines. Delta, American, I'm a pro. I'm a professional travel. Southwest, I'm a chatty Cathy. I get in the mood.
Yeah. My Southwest flight from Vegas to San Diego, they were cracking jokes the whole time.
Southwest is like a book club that's talking about the flight they're on.
It's a comedy podcast.
Whoa, a little bumpy. This guy's funny. Where are you going? Where you been? That baby cries. Everyone goes, someone's upset.
They have so many canned lines that'll be like, take your baggage or forget about it. Like
No, I had a guy walking down the aisle once, and he was handing out the peanuts, and he goes, steak and eggs? Steak and eggs? It's a great bit. It's a great bit. As a comedian, I hate how funny they are sometimes. Yeah. I hate that I like it sometimes because I want to be like frumping. I was like, steak and eggs is the peanuts is a great bit. Great bit. Yeah. I think what it is because everyone's equal on Southwest. There's no
hierarchy.
There's no hierarchy. I mean, you can get on a little earlier, but like it's the closest. Southwest is the closest to communism that we have.
And I feel like it's always, you're all peasants. It's not the other way around.
Oh.
You're all rich now and lavish.
Yeah.
See, yeah. I don't feel that. I feel like it's a carnival in the sky.
Love that.
I feel like we're all in the carnival tent together. Yeah. And everyone's just having fun. Southwest is the only airline where I feel like people are responding appropriately to the miracle of flight. Like, this is incredible. Can you believe we're doing this? Can you believe we're flying? Wow. This is great. This is so exciting.
Well, they're so cheeky about everything. Yeah. They're like, you don't want a snack? And it's just like one bag.
Yeah.
Like, take it or don't.
Right.
But they're like, you don't want it?
Yeah.
Like, they're just special.
Yeah. And also pretty affordable, the most flexible. Like, you can change your stuff very late on them, and you get 2 bags for free.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's fair. You just know what you're getting into. Now, if you have anxiety, Southwest is a nightmare. Not knowing where you're going to sit. And I get it.
This morning, straight up, I missed check-in by 5 minutes, and I was like, "Yep, I'm spending $50 to upgrade that."
To upgrade, yeah.
C-17, nope,
that won't do.
Yeah,
no. Once you're like low B, like
I was B34,
but you got an aisle at B34.
I got a window seat.
Yeah,
because a couple.
Yeah.
She took the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
I always,
do you go to the back of the plane?
You got to go to the back of the plane at that point.
I sat down early.
Right? It's your
window.
Choice. I have checked bags usually, so I'm like, what difference does it make when I get off this plane? I would
rather get off faster.
Yeah, I get that. And that's your preference.
Also,
you're a dream middle seat.
I'm
like,
I don't take up that much space. So
look at this cute little thing. Who's gonna crochet and give me a nice half smile? You're a dream middle seat.
It's also a 45-minute flight.
Also, who's gonna be nice? I also feel what I like about Southwest. Oh, by the way, to me in my mind, I always remember the band B-52. B-52 is right around that cut line where if you're like after B-52, you're like, uh-oh. Yeah. This is gonna. But
it's not a love shack after that.
No, it's just the shack. But yeah, I what I like most about Southwest, and this being said, I'm primarily a Delta flyer, but it's Southwest is number 2. It really depends where you're going. Yeah. I have it is the least judgmental of all the airlines.
I like that. Like, if you can't get your bag in the overhead compartment.
The staff is wearing shorts.
They don't sweat it.
No.
They have American flag ties.
They don't sweat, period. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's no sweating. Also, studies have been shown that Southwest boards faster than they do that process because it boards faster than the other ones.
I believe it.
And there's just
no pretense.
You fly Delta and your baby starts crying. The hate, the visceral, vile. How dare you fly with a child? Southwest, there's 8 grandmas are like, let me hold that baby for you. Mm-hmm. There's a mom over here going, let me feed that baby for you. I will breastfeed your child so you can get some rest. Here's a free drink while I breastfeed your child.
This sounds like the lower level. Yeah, it sounds like the lower level of the Titanic. Like, you come down there and it's nothing but bar songs and
dancing,
some swinging and dancing.
It's a great time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was going to say, you could just get a privacy screen on your laptop.
I know. People have recommended that.
People we were traveling with, they had privacy screens on their laptops and their phones.
Right.
You can't look. You can't see what they're doing.
I don't think Southwest will let you have a privacy screen. Southwest.
Let us see what you're doing.
What you watching over there? What you watching?
Let me watch it too. Yeah. Southwest is like, I'll edit your video for you. I learned how to do
it.
Yeah. Let me. Southwest is truly like the Olive Garden. They're like, we're all family here. They need
a breadstick.
They need to hire Vin Diesel. The Southwest is family.
That was my favorite part. Universal. He's like, "Hey, fam."
Hey, fam. That being said, I am 1,000%. You are most likely to also get them. Southwest is the airlines you're most likely to get sick on. So.
You might not make it home for Christmas.
Which is okay because you've got a new family.
We stole your bags for the holidays.
All right. Well, let's talk about us not being bougie or being bougie. Southwest is us not being bougie.
Right.
Life is about balance, ladies and gentlemen, and I have a Thanos amount of balance in my life. I don't know if you get that right when he holds up the knife thing.
Yeah. About that.
Yeah, with his daughter, who he would then later kill. But
yeah,
strange.
Do I have
a duality?
Do I have a life of private cars and Radio City Hall and Four Seasons? Catered dinners. Yes. Do I also have a lot of Panera Bread and airport courtyard Marriotts? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do they both kind of feel the same to me? If I'm honest, yes. But we had a solid week of just all bougie all the time, and that is because I am friends with megastar Taylor Tomlinson. Which, guys, get a friend like Taylor if you can. Holy smokes! She sold out 2 Radio Cities. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's her second time headlining in New York City. The first time was a sold-out Beacon and a couple of town halls.
Yeah.
Her second time, it's like unprecedented. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. She's 29. She's 29 years old. Yeah, sold out 2 Radio Cities. Unbelievable. It's crazy. And
it's like 6,000. Hold 6,000 people.
And I opened for her. And it's great. And it's, by the way, it's not all Four Seasons and stuff out there. I don't want to paint a picture of Taylor that's like, she's like this deep. She's actually so normal. It's crazy.
Flies coach. It's,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Modest life. And, but we got to do 2 shows at Radio City, and it was dreamy. It was dreamy.
Mm-hmm. So you guys came in from Philadelphia.
Yeah, we went to Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. This is actually a decent idea of what the road is. We went to Philly. I flew into Philly Thursday morning. I left here. My alarm went off at 3:30 or whatever, and we go to Philly and direct shot to Philly. Go to the hotel, shower, go to the venue, do the show. Next, no, I got in.
You must have performed Thursday. You performed
performed Thursday. Go ahead.
Friday.
And then Friday's the one chill day. Excuse me. Woo, one chill day.
Travel indigestion.
I know you're coming down on me.
Travel burn.
And heaven.
One chill day. Yeah.
Maybe one of the tangent, the best duet,
unbelievable,
collaborations in music history.
Oh my gosh!
Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men.
Oof.
Does it get better?
No, I mean those are at that point probably 5 of the best 5 voices on the planet. So.
Yes,
I always like the Boyz II Men song with around the 75% in mark. Girl.
Oh yeah.
Hey girl.
Pick up that phone.
This is my time to talk. Usually I'm just going, ooh, but now I get to do a talk.
I got a couple things to say to you.
Girl.
Like the vocal bass solo.
Yeah, and it always worked.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
yeah.
We get in, we go to Reading Terminal, my favorite thing in America. I love Reading Terminal so much. Mm-hmm. And then we do the show. Shows are great. And then we wake up Saturday morning. The plan is to get on a train around 1, go into New York, smooth it. Train delays. I wake up to, it's our tour manager. Hey, get up, be ready in 30 minutes downstairs. There's train delays. You got to go. We got to take an earlier one. Okay. So we go, we get in, and the hotel's not ready. I mean, this is the thing. When you go to see your favorite entertainer, artist, musician, whatever it may be, keep in mind, they had to get there usually that day or the day before, or they have to go somewhere the next day. You caught this when we saw Head in the Heart, and we were had this fantasy of getting to hang out with them backstage.
Yeah.
And you're there's their suitcases.
Yeah, they're suitcases in their green room. The bus rolled out
We're all
1 a.m.
We're all showered. We came from the hotel, bougie, got a wine or two in us, having fun, eating their tacos, and they're like, the bus rolls out at 1. You're like, what? When you went to Radio City and you saw Taylor, and I was there too, like...
It's not like they'd had a spa day.
No.
know?
Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty hard day, which I hope makes you appreciate them even more.
The performer life is like so many highs and lows.
It really is so many highs and lows. That's a good way of putting it, because traveling is very tiring, and it's not as hard as like a lot of jobs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
mining.
I'm not I'm not looking for anyone to feel sorry for us. But I do think it's worth keeping in mind that when you see that person up there, a lot of time they travel that day and or they're leaving the next day. It's just a different lifestyle, which makes you, I think, kind of appreciate it more as an audience member. And also when you look back, it's so great that Taylor was sold enough to get to do his second one, because then you get to do it and you get to know what it feels like the next time up there too. I will say this, like, I've been cursed with ambition, right? There are certain things that we do when I'll speak candid. When I play the Moore in Seattle with Taylor, and I go, gosh, I grew up going to shows here.
Yeah.
This is the freaking Moore. Like, this is unbelievable. This is one of the best live albums ever. Alice in Chains live is so good here. There's
history.
There's that famous crowd surfing picture of Cobain here. I mean, this is it. Maybe one day Dusty will get up here too. He'll perform. He'll headline the Moore. Yeah. Radio City, it's not even a goal. It's not even a thing. Like, you're putting yourself, you're like, who are you, the Rockettes? You're like, this is 6,000 people. Yeah. And she sold it out twice. And it's not a very good comedy room, but it's still cool.
I think it's a great show for the audience. It's just, it's not a dream gig.
Well, here's the thing. Comedy has gotten bigger than comedy was ever really thought it would get. Because comedy is, it's grimy. It's like, it's Lenny Bruce. Like, I mean, our roots are, you go jesters and mimes and Mark Twain traveling around reading little pithy things. And then it's Lenny Bruce getting kicked out of clubs and stuff for, bad mouthing. He's literally getting arrested and stuff. That's my favorite thing when people are like, you can't say anything these days. Lenny Bruce literally went to jail. So maybe cool it that Twitter got mad at you for a day.
Yeah.
But it's always been subculture underground. Yeah. And now it's having this big, massive moment. You wouldn't know it from my ticket sales, but some people, I'm like, the clubs still fit me perfectly. Right. Sometimes too big still. So when you get up there, you're like, it just feels so big. That being said, I mean, Taylor just like rises to the moment. So big, so good, so like...
You did too. It was a great show.
I bought a jacket.
You did?
I bought 2 jackets, and it was a lot of fun. It is one of those things that you're like, this is, when you're there, your family. No, I can't stop doing bits. When you're there, you do feel like, okay, this is a part of entertainment history, because I think if you were to ask the general public to name like 5 venues, I do think Radio City's one that a lot of them could. Yeah. Or at least that they've heard of. Yeah. Like, I think it's, a few of them are in New York. Like, I think it's Carnegie Hall, Radio City, MSG.
Red Rocks.
Yeah. I was going to say the Ryman.
The Ryman, especially if you like country music.
Yeah.
And then they kind of...
Hollywood Bowl.
Hollywood Bowl's there, yeah. Well, I said the Greek, actually, because of the movie.
Yeah.
But even that, like, there's not a lot. And even, like, MSG doesn't really count. Because when you get into arenas, now you're knowing it with the sports team.
Right.
Now you're like, Wrigley Field. You're like, well, that's... But it's just as far as entertainment venues. I mean, it might be the most famous one in the country.
Yeah, it's up there for sure.
Yeah, top 3. I mean, easily. I guess depending on what you like, you might have a different opinion. But because
because I mean, Radio City was featured in Annie. Radio City is the Rockettes. Like Radio City is like I'm trying to like the Hollywood Bowl is great, but I don't know if it's as well known.
No, I don't think so. No, because New York, you know, in the earth, like the longest standing, like entertainment city, Broadway, all of that kind of entertainment, and plus, like I mean, countless award shows. Yeah, you know, so people watch television through the 80s and 90s. Yeah, it's you know, it's that
Radio City music. Exactly. I think it's up there with like the Sydney Opera House. Yeah, where people are just like, oh yeah, that I know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, yeah, it was cool. The first night I was like. The second night was better because the first night I was like almost like it felt like when you do a TV spot that you're like thinking about it all the time. I'm like, oh, holy crap. I'm on Radio City. I'm
on live TV right now.
I'm at Radio City right now. And then the second night was I was more relaxed. I was like, holy crap, this is Radio City. Like that's why you are thankful. The Taylor sold out too. Thanks, Tay. Can't wait for you to sell out 10 MSGs or whatever because that star is shining pretty bright right now. Now, other New York things that other people that we did. Let me say this. Mom and Dad figured out the subway. We did it.
Hey.
Our 4th trip to New York.
4th-ish.
You went. We did the anniversary one when I was there. We're there with Chris. We went with the family once, and then the last time I was there with Tay?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my fourth
trip
to New York.
First time braving the subway together. And let me tell you, Google Maps does make it fairly easy. It's still nerve-wracking because the biggest fear is not that like you're going to get murdered or anything. The biggest fear is that you're
wrong train.
Or what I realize is that you're going to get on the right train going the wrong direction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the signs will be like, Brooklyn Street this way, Brooklyn Street that way. You're like, but which one? Because if this goes the wrong way. So what I would, if you are looking to navigate the subway, tips, have a dumb buddy with you.
Yes.
These two idiots.
Yeah, because you can ask, I think this, what do you think?
Yeah. No judgment. This is before Melissa was fighting with me. She was loosey-goosey. And start easy.
Carefree. Yep.
Take a direct, a no transfer with plenty of wiggle. Wiggle, which we did because we were going from where we were staying in Midtown down to Soho. Yeah. So we were going to just make that trip easy. And then we were just like, I think this is right. And we did it and we had some buffer. And then we rode from there to Chelsea, which we had a buddy to ride with, Jonathan Merritt. And then the next day we rode it from Midtown to Brooklyn and back. And then we did have a little transfer that time. Yeah. And we was just have a dumb buddy if you can.
It's a lot of stairs. So
it is.
Keep that in mind.
And it truly is.
We did have a lot of humidity. Not the worst.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot. And when you walk down there, it's like 90 degrees.
Yes.
Like it's very hot.
It's very hot. It's cooler on the train than it is the station. The station is pretty gross.
And we had some rain. We had some weather.
It is the best way to get around the city, though. Like if it's too far to walk, which, I mean, we were averaging 7 miles a day, like walking there in Vegas, like. But it is the best way to get around, and so I wouldn't do it with my kids. I would do it with my older son. I probably wouldn't do it with my daughters, not because like women shouldn't ride, because that's a choice that everyone can make. I'm not trying to make, but my daughters would be nervous about it.
Yeah, I think our son actually just like loves how busy New York is. Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah,
and our daughters like all that stuff. Is not their favorite.
Well, we walked when we were doing it. Middle of the day, everybody's on the subway. You know, it's not too sketchy, but it was like you do it and you're like, oh, because what's so annoying about God, I really am not. I like New York fine, but it is like it's one of those places that you're like 3 or 4 days, I'm good. Because it's
very taxing.
What takes me out more than anything is having to be in a car in New York. I get it why you don't drive there because you just go like it's not even just about how long it takes, it's about how miserable of an experience it is.
Well, you're not moving.
You're not moving.
The roads, there's so much construction, the roads are closed.
Yeah.
Like, pedestrians will walk no matter what.
Yeah.
So you're just moving so slow.
No, I mean my love
ride to the airport was bad.
The unfortunate way that a lot of your trips to New York end are you have to take a $125 Uber ride that takes an hour to get to JFK. Mm-hmm. And that'll make you just want to kind of like, we don't need this city. This one can go.
That's what, when we had lunch with Zoltan and Emma, and I'm shocked that you can travel for a living like Zoltan does, and then deal with that airport ride to his apartment.
And so many of them do. There's so many comics based in New York.
And that, I was like, whoo, that.
Yeah.
Because you fly into San Diego and it's like palm trees and cool breeze. But now that
it's a dream to come home to.
Now that it's starting to rain and soon it's going to start snowing there.
Yeah.
Like, plus all of the hassle of the airport.
Yeah.
I was like, whew, that'll make you change your mind.
It will.
About living in the city.
It is fun. I get it.
Fun.
And Subway just kind of, I'm so glad we figured it out because we know going forward, like, this is the move.
Yeah,
and it makes you want to consider going into LaGuardia because LaGuardia has more trains that run to it.
Well, that's the other thing is we went out to New Jersey for your MLB segment.
Mm-hmm. MLB TV and on TV again.
That was also a terrible Uber.
That's a pretty terrible ride out to Jersey. So
so that people that live in Jersey and commute, or you're just like, that makes it even more impressive how many people came to Radio City.
Right.
Because it is just hard to commute in that space.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal. So but a lot of the stuff that we did, we walked to. We went and saw a musical. We saw Plucked.
No, Shucked.
Shucked. I've messed it up every time.
One's a corn and one's a bird.
Yeah. Shucked. Corn-based. Corn-themed.
It's a corn musical.
It's a corn musical.
Mm-hmm.
They lean into it. It's very corny. There's a lot of dad jokes. It's very, very cheeky. Very, very much knowing what it was. Hadn't seen a musical in a while. This is what my review of any musical was. I had a great time. Not as much fun as Lauren Boebert had at Beetlejuice, but I had a great time. Do you know that reference?
No.
I do. Google that later, Mel. Actually, don't Google that.
Okay, just tell me later.
Have Safe Search on. If you do, Bark's going to give you an alert. Melissa, I am always worried about internet safety.
Yeah, especially with our kids.
Especially for you. I'm worried about what you are looking at, which is why I want to get Bark put on your phone.
Oh, boy.
Your phone, your laptop, your pager. I need to get Bark on
Bluetooth.
your pager.
Yeah.
On your Bluetooth.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little one in your ear.
Apple CarPlay.
As many of you guys know, we are parents. As many of you know. You all know we are parents.
Guys, we're parents.
We're parents. And internet safety is, I don't know if there's a thing that parents think about more anymore.
It is so important
it is
and so hard to keep track of.
Yeah. And thankfully, insert Bark Technologies. And then a hero comes along with Bark Technologies to monitor your kid's phone. And there's a new Bark phone, too. I didn't hit that. I missed that one. But before that, I was crushing that. That was pretty good.
That was good. Mm-hmm.
Bark Technologies is a friend of the pod, and we love them so much. There's a couple services that we've used with them over the year. The phone, the monitoring of your kid's phone, where they send you alerts and what they're looking at, and they have different levels and things, whatever it may be. It's fantastic. You're not spying on your kid. There's just certain things where Bark goes, hey, you might want to see this, and they show it to you.
Check out this tag.
And even better, simplify your life, ladies and gentlemen. Bark has a new phone.
That's right. And it doesn't look like a kid's phone.
No,
it's black.
No.
It's sleek.
Yeah.
Phones and technology is improving, and this phone grows with your kid.
Oh.
So maybe your kiddo is, kind of inching into like an Instagram account.
Yeah.
Or wants to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And you want to give him some training wheels to get there.
We recently let our kid get on Instagram, and it was because of Bark.
That's right.
We let our kid because we're less concerned, and because he's 15 and we're done parenting. But so tell him. But we also, we don't choose any sponsor for the pod. We like sponsors that makes sense and we use in our lives, and Bark is one of them. And the new Bark phone is something that we're really excited about, as well as Bark technology is what we use constantly. And we have some promo codes and we have some details. Hit them, Melissa. Give them those sweet, sweet details.
All right. So you can manage screen time. You can block websites and apps. You can monitor text, email, YouTube, and 30 apps and platforms.
Andy's excited.
You can get child psychologist advice and tips, even ways to approach kids when they mess up.
So how do they sign up and how do they save some money, Melissa?
Let me tell you. If you click on the link in the show notes and enter Don't Make Me, all one word, Don't Make Me, you are going to get 7 days of a free trial for the Bark Premium subscription.
And?
As well as
15% off for the lifetime of your subscription, baby.
That's right.
And
was there any actual Korn melodies, like covers of Korn?
Oh no, the band Korn was not referenced that I meant.
Unfortunately, not.
It's so bad. Musicals are great, and it does take a second to remember. Oh, it's a musical. Like
I would just say that the second half was like 4 times better.
Yes, and the first half was good. The first
they got to set everything up, and we talked about that with like even comedy shows. Like the first 15, 20 minutes is like setup.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, very much so.
Okay. All right.
For my part.
Well, we had a long discussion about openers in comedy. So
there is
like they're like, no. Give it a little time. We got to figure out who everyone is.
Yeah, there you got to settle in.
But all the ballads, like were everyone had a ballad in the second half.
Yes.
And those were amazing.
It's a really good show. I get why it's being so successful, even though I can never remember the name of it. What I think it's more interesting, like, I don't know how to review musicals. Like, I laughed.
It's not
I got
genre.
interested. It was emotional. I liked it. Musicals are like my 4th or 5th favorite type of live entertainment.
Yeah.
I go live music, like just band or singer-songwriter. That's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 is stand-up. Like we're going to talk about next week. We went to a stand-up show, and I was like, this is the best. I love...
Yes.
Number 3, I like magic. I'm not going to lie. I like magic.
Yeah, what's not like to like?
Some people are down on... I like magic. But I do like musicals too. But
I would say you probably musicals number 4 for you.
Yeah, what's yours?
I think the hard part is, to me, not every musical is equal.
Well, and they're not the same, because there's like funny ones and sad ones and like intense ones and
So a year ago we saw Music Man.
Yeah.
Like with Hugh Jackman.
Which you can't. That's not
and Sutton Foster. Like wow. You know, like that's not a category.
Well, and before that we saw Book of Mormon.
We saw Book of Mormon, which was amazing.
Orlando.
And then when we were in London, we saw
Moulin Rouge.
So those are 3 categories.
We've also seen Wizard of Oz, and we've seen like this is like this is like, I can't believe how much culture you've added to my life. Goodness gracious. I don't think in the history of Nickersons have 6 musicals been seen. I don't know if 1 has been seen before. It's certainly not intentionally.
If it was on TV.
If it was on TV, and
it wasn't your genre.
If it was, words were said about those actors that are not sociably okay to say anymore. And that doesn't mean that they didn't secretly love it, but I will
admit to loving.
I think I've seen 6 musicals. I will go out on a limb and say that the totality of Nickerson men, 6 musicals have been seen in the history of Nickerson males.
They were you.
They were all me.
Yeah.
They were all me.
Yeah.
But I mean, Melissa, I had never had Thai food before I met you.
Yeah.
I'd never had sushi before I met you. I mean, I was like, you really added. As for a basic white woman like you are, you really added a lot of culture to my life.
My favorite was when you saw the Nutcracker with me, and you had no idea what was happening.
Nutcracker's very confusing.
Yes.
It's still...
If you've never seen it.
Right.
But, I mean, I just mean, like, the storyline...
Yeah.
A lot of people are familiar with.
I had played some of the songs in orchestra.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding,
no,
ding, ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's great.
You were like, during the intermission or after the play, you were like, what just happened?
Yeah, I was like, what were the rats? Is this about Christmas? It's really hard to know. It is.
Anyway.
I really liked it, and I laughed a lot, and I was very invested into it. So I would give it a very high review. This isn't official Bingo Dingo stuff here, but but I will say that because I haven't seen enough. I've seen more musicals than I have magic shows. So musicals are probably 3, like a play, but it's a big genre. Yeah. But you just kind of have to settle in, like, oh, that's right, we're singing and there's dancing. But man, the second half of Shucked is really, really good.
Yeah.
Melissa at one point leaned in because they were doing like a big one, and Melissa goes like, "This is some newsy stuff over here," which is the highest praise from this girl.
When they got on the barrels. Whoa.
They got on the barrels.
Well, it's similar to the library song in Music Man.
Right.
When they start like cartwheeling over the card catalog at the library, you're like, oh my God. Yes. Like it was like that jaw-dropping.
I find myself looking less at the stars in those and more
supporting.
Like there was a guy there who reminded me, there was a background guy who reminded me so much of a friend, still a friend, I just don't see him. He moved away, named Ryan. We called him Big Country. They're here down in San Diego. And he looked so much like him. And I was like, he's like a big dude, and he's clearly from the Midwest. And you're like, this is what it would be like if my friend Ryan sang and like had a dream to be in musicals. Mm-hmm. And here he is on the stage. Yeah. And a lot of his job, because he does have a couple lines, all of them hit, and he does sing really well. Because, I mean, he's in Broadway. Of course he can friggin' sing. But a lot of his job is like moving the props, which is a fairly big job in a lot of those shows. Like, there's a lot of they make it look really chill. And I'm like, you're moving the star right now, and they're going to take this step down. Yeah. And if that's not there, then you're not a part of this play anymore.
Well, and I don't remember what it's called. Like they're not the main, but they're the supporting, or they're
the understudy.
They're in the cast.
Yeah,
obviously.
the ensemble.
The ensemble. They're all understudies for like 2 or 3 roles.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was part of why I think it took a bit to get going. Was one of the leads was an understudy.
Yeah, that happened.
So the connection wasn't quite there right away, but it. Over time.
That happened too when we saw Hair here in San Diego, that you're like...
What's it called? The narrator. Like, he had all the opening lines. He was the understudy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're like, just doesn't feel like exactly right. And you're like, well, it's not. They're filling in.
How remarkable is an understudy, though? Like, talk about a thankless job. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to memorize 3 or 4 parts ready to go at any time.
Yeah.
And people are disappointed when you're up there.
Thankless job.
That's what being a parent is.
Yeah.
I can do all these things at any given time. I'm prepared to handle this. I can be the nurse if I have to be the nurse. I can be this. Mm-hmm. And either way, you're going to be disappointed. But
yeah.
One last thing. Let's do we want to do a recommendation / a bingo dingo. I don't even know if this is a bingo dingo, but Mel and I listened to this was recommended by our tour manager Abigail, the Dolly Parton's America.
Yeah.
The podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You listen to it?
10 episodes, I think. Yep.
It made Andy gag. Yeah. Yeah.
You open your mouth to speak.
One chill day.
Stuff went in there. One fun road. Weird. I'm all that to say no.
Oh yeah. Well, Andy really capitalized on his airtime there.
It was very interesting.
So good.
They interviewed Dolly for like 4 hours.
A lot of Dolly. It's just talking about Dolly's life, her impact on culture, the South.
Yeah.
Really good stuff, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
Really, the Jolene episode is very interesting. The 9 to 5 one's very good. It starts like about all of her sad songs.
Yeah.
So it's like there were a couple times I was like, I'm not in the spot. I'm just trying to pack. I don't want to listen to this right now.
Yeah.
The last episode about hearing like Southerners like struggle with the stereotypes of like being dumb idiots and the history of that. Like there was one thing in there where they talked about like the term redneck actually. Like one historian was saying that the term redneck actually comes from like a bunch of coal miners who like had like an armed revolt against their employers to fight for their like rights, and they were wearing these red scarves around their necks, and you're like, oh, so it's not a dumb hillbilly in the field thing, it's people fighting for workers' rights. Okay, well, maybe I'm stupid and an idiot, and but it's like the whole last episode we're talking about like a lot of these stereotypes of dumb rednecks were actually like formed by like New York writers and stuff who were like trying to kind of create this false narrative of this like purebred, or not purebred, but like these like just like native white people who weren't affected by the war and live in these mountains. It was like fantasy, essentially. It was wild stuff. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I'd recommend it. I give it a 5 out of 5 bingo dingoes.
I would too. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
5 out of 5.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully you guys give us 5 out of 5 as well. And if you don't, then don't leave a review at all.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All
I think that's it. Do we got anything else?
No.
Oh, one more thing. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, folks, want to give a special shout out to our As Essential as Oils patrons. Ooh, that's $25 up a month. That's a big money right there. What you get is you get a special shout out on this podcast at the end right now. So, first up,
April Griffiths,
Adam Bush,
Allison Nelson,
Bonnie Galindo,
Carrie Teague,
Caroline Crimmins,
Code to Grow,
Courtney Eibling,
Damaris Diaz-Stevens,
Dan and Chelsea Morell,
Daniel Owens,
David and Melissa Cox,
Dave Hoagland,
Isaac Teron,
Jason White,
Jennifer Ashley Downs,
Jessica Handurand,
Joshua and Nikki Platt,
Jordan Lara,
Jordan Cowan,
Juliana Smith,
Lori Amos,
Matt and Sam Slosdom,
Nathan and Jennifer Merritt,
Nicole Caroz,
Rachel Wilson,
Rachel Kennedy,
Robert and Nellie Capin,
Stephen Menya,
and Tiffany Payne. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bam, 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 bam.